Thank you everyone for joining in our personal development class. So today, I am covering a book, and the book I read few months back, "The Compound Effect: Jumpstart Your Income, Your Life, and Your Success" by Darren Hardy. It's one of the bestseller on New York Times and very well-known book. And I thought the book had a lot of material which could help some of you. Some of them would be repeat, but one thing looking back, even my career, I do read a lot of books, and some of the book made a lot of impact in my life, and I think it would also make impact on your life. So the book, I cannot cover the full book, so I'm just summarizing it based on that and what I learned. However, my goal is here that some of you would be encouraged by the discussion here, and then you would go ahead and read the full book to get full out of this book. So the idea, the compound effect in action, small smart choices, consistency plus time is radical difference. So we always think that we have to do something big to change our life. However, the author here talks about a simple theory. All small choices we make in our life. However, we have to make it consistent basis, and then you know, if we do it certain period of time, then there are a lot of differences it can make. One of the example I found very interesting on that book, that a single penny that doubles every day for 30 days has a larger payoff than taking 3 million in a cash today. In first, when I was reading it and even later watched some videos, I realized that, when we are young, we have this kind of notion that, we want to make more money, or whichever way we can get more money. And if I give you $3 million or 3,000 rupee or taka, you would take it. However, if you have the other theory that, if you can, double that every day, if I tell you that I'll give you $2, and then, you will get double money every day, then after few months, I think you would be making more money. And sometimes people don't take these kind of things. So that's a good example to start with. At least you know that, you end of the day, you would be gainer on that. Similar example I found in my life, that 10, 15 minutes reading every day. I have finished 250 books in last 7 years. And all I have done is, you know, read just 250, 15 minutes a day. Sometimes 5 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, and I'm continuously, reading and finishing a book. you know Similar with, if you think about your health, the examples and the pictures on shown on the screen, that let's say if you go ahead and add eat one candy every day, which is 125 calorie. After 3 years, eventually you will gain 39 pounds. Of course, if you do exercise and but in order to burn those calories, you have to do a lot of exercise. So again, the examples, in a simple, it sounds very simple. Uh, Specifically, when I looked into the book and I thought, okay, what is new about it? And that's the difference about the book. What I found out more and more when I read what author is trying to, tell us, that in a certain time, like when you look into 1 week versus months and years, there is a huge difference on everything. We always overestimate what we can achieve in a week. So whenever we, want success, everybody have this goal, right? Or they want to be successful. They want to be rich. They want to be successful in career. They want to be healthy. They want to be a better sportsman. You want to be a better programmer. You want to be a better QA. what our mind plays with us, that we always overestimate. So what happened? You have final in a week and you think that this is the week I'm going to study. Your brain always telling you that I can achieve a lot. So that's the problem here. Now our brain also underestimate what we can produce in few months or years with consistency. So what happened, if you see on the picture, that within a week, if you have certain, you know, maybe in while you are working here, you think that I would be able to learn, Drupal or Magento. You think within a week I'm going to finish this, but you always overestimate. But your brain does not play that thing that within a year, if I read every day for 10 minutes about Drupal or Magento or React, I would be learning it. So that's the concept really stuck on my mind, that it does. I always feel, and we are always going to do that in our mind. So this is the trick here. How do you overcome that? Similar way, if you look into the example I told you about pennies, this is a little bit more details. So let's say percentage of growth versus month to month increase, right? So there are two ways if you look into these data here. So on the left, what we need to think about, that how much progress we are making by each month. So initially what happened, whenever somebody tell us that we will be getting $5,000, right? And within this month and next month, you are getting you know $10,000, $15,000, $60,000, right? Our brain is playing with this math wrongly, because you will notice that on the left hand side, what you need to think about, that how much growth happening, whether with your salary, you know the total number. One of the example I have seen, and I see it all the time with some of you. So what happened, you go ahead and you probably get a salary from some company or in a job, and then you compare with your friends. Oh, they're making that amount of money, right away. You forget about your growth, your career growth. So you don't think about that, right? So ultimately, the gain, people who after 5 years, who actually think about their growth, actually end up making more money. So what I found out in my career also, that those people who actually started with a job. I'll give you a good example. When we were in college, a lot of my friends actually were spending a lot of time looking for a job. It's easy to make money in New York City. So what they did, while they're in college, they would find a job in restaurant, where if you work as a waiter, you make a good amount of money. So what happened that time, some of them made so much money and they bought even car. So I was like thinking, oh my God, they have car. But luckily, I had friends around me or people around me were telling me that if you study well, eventually you will make more money. So your growth, what percentage of growth, even in dollars here we are talking about, but if you can tell your brain that, what, I am going to grow my career. If I join this company, I will get mentorship, I will get certain other things, and eventually you will grow your career. So while my friends made 500, $500 a week and bought a car while they're in college by working in a restaurant, they actually could not concentrate enough on their career, that means studying, and they look for short-term gain. So they end up making less money after 2 years when I graduated and got a job. That's step one. Even in my career, step two, when I started SJ Innovation, a lot of my friends, and even until recently, a lot of them were telling me that I made a mistake by doing this, working on this company and doing small project. But after 10 years, now I am doing better than most of my friends. So if you look into the graph, our brain always tell us to look into the dollar number. So right away, whenever you are offered with a dollar amount on a job, you jump into that number, you compare with your friends, and you go ahead and you know get a job with higher salary. But those people who are smart enough, they look for career growth. Even within your team, maybe you are thinking about, hey, can I just get more salary? But if you think about growth a little bit, that whether you are growing, within the skill set, whether last year I knew React, this year I have to learn something else or something advanced level of programming, then you make more money end of the day. So in this case also, these two people were offered, every month, the right guy, the red pant, who was offered every month just $5,000, I think, every month here, right? And he ended up making, 90,000. But the left hand side, what the guy decided that I'm going to grow. So he started with 51, but he ended up making 186,000 after 18 months. So this is the important concept to tell your brain how to think about long term. Okay. So idea two is, how do you start? How do you start implementing this? When we think about small choices, they're easy to make, but easy to miss also. So some of the example, you know, I put it from my personal life here, right? I will do 5 minutes yoga before bed. I have a back problem. You know, I have a lot of, I went through the doctor, could not work for a few years properly. Then I decided on a simple theory that in order to solve my back problem, I will just do 5 minutes yoga before bed. Second one, I will practice coding. I mean, that is an example a lot of you could relate. A lot of people who actually have done really well in STI and who left and who have grown their career, what I have noticed that they do practice coding even after work. Creative work, they have a side project. Similar with me, I have seen that nobody told me to do certain things, but I still do a lot of side projects. But it has to be consistent basis. Nobody told me to do manage this blog in a agency.blog in a managecoda.com, but I do it. I do it regularly. I read about it, I go to it, and I find resource. If you want to lose weight, things like, I will walk to office for 3 days a week. Maybe you take half of the ride by bike or something and just walk from there. I will not eat bread for the breakfast. These are small choices you can make, right? Now, want to lose weight, track your weight, track your measurement, track your calories, track your steps, track the minute you exercise each day. Now, scoreboard everywhere project we started in SJI. I mean, you guys are familiar. We are tracking everything, right? And even you will notice that some of you, that daily head start. Why are we so concerned about it? It may sound like, oh, what is the difference it is making? But the difference you are making by posting your daily head start ultimately in a compound effect. A lot of things in SJI we have implemented, the good habit. So if you think about these small choices we are making every day, you know, you need to start tracking them. Track anything and everything that compound you toward or away from your goal. If you don't track it, you lose sight, you don't continue with that. However, one lesson I have learned, a lot of you make that mistake. You start with a lot of things. Start with a small list, track one habit for 1 week, then add to your list until there is not a choice, big or small, you don't know about. So even if you think about this morning when I woke up, there are a lot of things I have done. I don't notice it. I put my clothes on the rack last night. So when I'm waking up, the clothes are ready to be wear to come to office. I pray. I don't remember when. I mean, I did not intentionally thought about it that I have to pray. After doing brush, I automatically do wudu, which is cleaning myself, and then go and pray. And then I came to the kitchen. I had that special drink I do every day. So I made that. I had a apple cider vinegar, uh, 1 spoon. So these are the things I have done without my brain working on it. They became habit now. So I don't have to work toward that. Same with reading. I will somehow make it happen. However, there are other things I am continuously trying to do, like this example I have provided, that I will walk to office for 3 days a week. So now is time for me to work toward that. Now, and this is the toughest part, creating habit. Habits are an acquired mode of behavior that has become nearly or completely involuntary. They are choices on autopilot, and they grow stronger with each repetition. It's very easy to say these things, that this small habit I'll create and I'll become that. And I'm sure a lot of time you watch a YouTube video and after this class and you will say, oh my God, I'm going to start. That happened to me all the time. I go to bed thinking that I will conquer the world. I will do a lot of these, that. However, it is a lot harder. What you need to do, take responsibility. To take responsibility for your habits, acknowledge that acknowledge the power of habit in light of the compound effect. Determine a powerfully motivating why for changing your behavior. So one of the thing I found that me and Shahara went through a lot of health problem. So 5 years ago, we started implementing small behavior related to health. I was going through a lot of health problem. I gained way too much, weight. So our one of the motivation personally for me why I want to do it. Number one, I want my kids to see me healthy. That is very, very important. That motivate me so much because I want them to grow and see me that I am healthy and I can take care of them. Number two, taking care of SJI. Taking care of SJI is so important. So what happened when you are doing certain things, if you don't know why you are doing it, you will end up not doing it. A good example is last night. It took me some time. Shahara was helping me to finish this slide. So we went to bed little late. I was feeling extremely tired. But remember that habit, I was almost missing it, that yoga before bed. I went to pray. It's almost 12:30. I still end up doing it. You know why? Because I wanted to be healthy this morning. I wanted to serve you. I wanted to come to this class and, sit here without having a pain. So that why always you have to keep in your mind. Set effective goals and clearly visualize what success looks like. This is such a big problem for some of you are young. You need to visualize where you want to go. I had that dream long, long time back that we will have office in, I'm talking about when me and Shahara started the company. We had nothing. We had no one client probably or two clients. But I had that dream very clearly on my mind that I would be standing in front of a building and that would be our SJI office. A lot of employees are behind me. I'm talking to them. And I told that dream so many times to so many people. People laughed at me, but I was very clear what I wanted to do. A lot of things you need to visualize in your head. You should not have any doubt. Identify and remove the bad habits holding you back from your goals. Identify and create the good habit you will need to reach your goal. A lot of these things are I'm repeating. Probably you could watch a video and stuff, but I think what is more important here that knowing that these are the real people, and hopefully we'll hear from some of you that you can share your example, you are struggling with or which you have achieved. I know some of the people I see here, Daniel, Paresh, and a lot of people here, they have adopted a lot of good habits over the years. So idea 4, influence and whom to hang out with. One of the lesson I have learned over the years that, your brain is an information processing machine, right? It's kind of a lot of information coming in, which is garbage, which is junk, sometimes garbage out, right? So what author is saying that to change the quality of your thinking, change the quality of your input, with these two foolproof wins. I'm sure your parents told you many, many times, like, when you are young, whom you are hanging out with. If you are hanging out with a bad, like somebody who is not good, they are probably telling you not to do that. Those are school days, maybe when you are young, right? So right now, one of the biggest problem we have it, guard against garbage, to put yourself on a media diet and stop reading news or social media. So what I found out, I mean, this is a very simple one. He became very specific and covered the one chapter. You know, when you wake up, a lot of you, including me, used to go to Facebook, right? Or other places. So what happened? Facebook, a lot of people, you claim them your friends, but they are not really your friend. They are just people you are following and people you have no idea. They're in different locations. What they are doing, they are posting things which is completely junk. They do not help you. They do not help you at all, right? So what it does, right away in the morning, you are putting some junk material on your head. And there are a lot of bad news sometimes, like COVID came in. It's not about COVID is taking over your life, but it is the media which took over your life. Even if you read the headline for some of the newspaper, it's like world is ending, right? But there are a lot of good things happening. I mean, by knowing title is okay, but knowing too much about certain things is not a good idea. So what I did, I few years ago, I deleted my Facebook app from my phone. Even on my desktop, only 10 minutes I can use Facebook, and after that it spread, it stopped my feed. I have noticed significant change on my mental condition every day. Even while I'm out, a lot of times, periodically, I mean, I even stop using Twitter, no Instagram. I'm not missing anything. Yes, it feels good when you post things and people like it. Only thing I use it for business mostly for LinkedIn. Trust me, when you do not, I haven't watched news for last 4 or 5 months. I mean, news means like literally too much news on TV. Sometime maybe 6:30 news. Me and Shahara watch it, but even that sometime it's not bothering me. I read newspaper sometime, headline little bit here and there, but not like but good newspaper. So what I am telling you guys that some of you are young, and I know that if you look into your phone, control your social media use, block it after certain hours. I'm sure you can do it on both Android and iOS. These things are really not helping your career. Join Drive Time You, absorb audiobooks and courses. So this has been my recommendation to all of you that put that bad stuff with good stuff. Try to listen to a podcast, audiobook. A lot of good stuff are out there. Talk to your friends and family and find out. Talk to us, find out. Take control of your association. You know, the people you associate with, determine as much as 95% of your success and failure in life. Even in this age, trust me, people I hang out with, people I talk to, they make a huge difference. I'll tell you a simple example. I'm in my 40s. I have a friend, last year, even after COVID, a lot of things happened. Mentally, it wasn't as, as you can imagine, all of us are going through this problem. So this friend of mine is very positive. Whenever I call him, like he would be positive about it. Oh, there are good news out there. He would talk about it. And he doesn't worry too much about life. He's like always not damn care, but he's like, so one thing I have noticed that more I call him, so I call him now literally every day for 5 minutes, 3 minutes here and there. And it boosts my morale. Compared to there are few friends, whenever I call him, they would end up telling me about so many bad news. This people is sick, that person is sick. So that is a very important factor here that you want to associate with. Nobody is telling them stop talking to someone, but just keep a distance with some people who are taking a lot of your energy. Just look into the list of friends you have it, even at workplace. If somebody is always bringing you down, don't talk to them. I mean, do talk to them if work wise you need it, but avoid them as much as you can. Okay. So again, this is very simple idea. I don't want to cover more than that, but what I want you guys to think about it that these concept sounds very simple. It's not. So what are the action plan from this class? What I am thinking that you go back, make it your own list, the list which will consist of a few good habits you want to start implementing in your life and a few bad habits you want to remove from your life. That is also very important. And remember that the book, you can just search for it on YouTube and watch more summary. They probably would cover it more. If you want to read the book, find it in your own way.